Welcome back to Ask a Monk. This question comes from Yong Tek Singh, who asks, do we need to give up all materialistic pleasure? Giving up pleasure. No, you don't have to give up any pleasure. This is really the key. You have to give up your attachment to the pleasure, and there's a difference. You can experience pleasure without being attached to it. That's clear. The body has many states, even the mind has many states, and these don't all necessarily stem from greed or coexist with attachment. But attachment is a sort of stress. It's something that brings the mind out of its state of peace and happiness. And if you engage in attachment, addiction, wanting, desire, and so on, you're only going to become more and more miserable when you compartmentalize reality into good and bad, and therefore don't get always what you want because you have wants. If you're able to accept reality for what it is, then it's not a question of whether it's pleasure or pain at all. You're able to live in harmony with the world around you, in harmony with reality as it is, accepting change, accepting the good and the bad, and not giving labels to things as good or bad. But I think more than that, it's important to understand that you don't have to give up anything at all. Buddhism is not a dogma. There's no theory involved in terms of you have to let go of this or let go of that. The point is that you're suffering, and that you may not realize that. For many people, they don't realize that. They aren't able to see their state of existence as having suffering in it. And yeah, but you are, and we all are. And once we realize that there is suffering, then we want to find a way out of it. So we start looking, and once you start looking, you realize that the cause of suffering is really your attachments, as I said, the attachments to this and to that, to pleasure, the attachments to being in a certain existence, to being something, our attachments to not being something. These are a cause of suffering because we're not able to accept reality for what it is. We're not able to accept the experience. And when you realize this, you let go by yourself. You realize the stress that you're causing. When you see something as causing you stress, if you see it clearly, there's no thought involved at all. It immediately changes who you are. Your way of behaving changes so that you don't go that way anymore. You would never do something when you know and you've verified for yourself that is causing you suffering. That's nature. That's the nature of the mind. We only do things because we think they're going to cause us pleasure and happiness and bring about our some sort of benefit. When we see that there is no benefit in something, and see clearly means in a meditative sense, we won't engage in that. So you don't ever have to worry about having to give something up, thinking, oh, I'm going to have to give up this or that. That's not the point. The point is, look closer, look clearer. Give up those things that are stopping you from seeing clearly. Of course, give up drinking, alcohol, and drugs, and so on, because you can't see objectively with your mind intoxicated. For instance, give up entertainment to a certain degree, to the degree that it's getting in the way of your clear investigation of reality. But that's just a technical issue. If you don't give it up, you won't be able to undertake the scientific inquiry. But once you've gone that far, start to look, and don't take my word for it that you have to give up this or that or everything. Just start looking, and the better you understand reality, the more you'll give up, until finally you give up everything by yourself. There's no forcing involved or pushing or pulling at all. It's wisdom. Once you see things as they are, You don't want to cling because it's not a belief, it's not a theory. There's no happiness that comes from clinging. So all the best. Hope that helps.